ready? We need your microphone. Ready to rock? I'm going to call to order the meeting of October 25th, 2018, Board of Commissioners meeting at 9:45. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Berman. Here. Bowman. Crawford.
Here.
Dwyer.
Here.
Fleming.
Here.
Gershenson. Skingel is excused. Hoffman. Here. Jackson. Here. Kokendorfer.
Here.
Kowal. Here. Long. Here. McGilvray. Here. Middleton.
Here.
Quarles. Spiz.
Here.
Taub. Here. Teets. Here. Weipert. Here. Woodward. Here. Zach. Here. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll move on to the invocation, in which I will call on Commissioner Taub. Commissioner Taub. May I also ask that you please rise and stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance after the invocation. Thank you.
Sadly today, we hear on our news programs terrible stories about a handful of abusive police officers. Today, I would like us to remember the hundreds of thousands of law enforcement officers who work tirelessly for our safety. Somebody killed a policeman today, and a piece of America died. A piece of our country she swore to protect will be buried with her at her side. The suspect who shot her will stand up in court with counsel demanding his rights, while a young widowed father must work for his kids and spend many long, lonely nights. The beat that she walked was a battlefield. Too, just as if she had gone off to war. Though the flag of our nation won't fall at half-mast, to her name they will add a gold star. Yes, somebody killed a policeman today. It happened in your town or mine. While we slept in comfort behind our locked doors, a cop laid her life on the line. Now her ghost walks a beat on a dark city street, and she stands at each new rookie's side. She answered the call. She gave it her all, and a piece of America died. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from October 10th, 2018. I'll take a motion by Dwyer, supported by McGilvray. All in favor of the minutes as written, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes have been approved. Move on to the approval of the agenda, and I'll call on the Majority Caucus Chair, Commissioner Taub.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have one item on the agenda for suspension. It's General Government Committee. It goes on the consent agenda. It's item A, Board of Commissioners sponsorship of 2018 My Career Quest Southeast event, interlocal agreement between Oakland County and Oakland Schools. And I'd like to waive Rule 3. The resolution was taken up by the General Government Committee immediately prior to today's meeting, and also waiver of Rule 9E. Resolution was considered by the EDC Committee on October 16th prior to liaison committee approval. The fiscal note was taken up by Finance on October 18th, 2018. In addition, Planning and Building, item D, Department of Central Services Aviation Division, Airport Rules and Regulations will need to be removed from the consent agenda to the regular agenda to make an amendment. And I'd like to move the agenda as amended.
We have a motion by Taub to move the agenda as amended, supported by Bowman. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Bowman.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Dwyer.
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Gershenson, Hoffman, Jackson, Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Quarles, Spiz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Teets,
Yes.
Wipert,
Yes.
Woodward. No Woodward. Zach,
Yes.
Berman,
Yes.
Woodward. Thank you. Mr. Chair, you have 20 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Agenda has been approved as amended. Move on to the communications, and with that, we're going to start off with a presentation. So I'd like to invite Megan Zaloni up to give us a presentation on Oakland Community Health Network Youth Mobile Crisis Unit. Megan?
Good morning. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners for allowing me to be here and to share this wonderful new service with the county officials today. So thank you so much. My name is Megan Zaloni. I am a social worker and also a project coordinator from Oakland Community Health Network, and I'm responsible for rolling out this new youth mobile crisis team. And it's so wonderful because it fills a critical need in the community to really help children, youth, and young adults when they are in crisis. So it enables professionals to be able to go out and provide that crisis help to where families are located in the community. So it's really wonderful, so I'm really excited to share this about this service. And so Intensive Crisis Stabilization Services, this is a state-required service throughout the state of Michigan. So whether it's in the UP or in the Lower Peninsula, this service is now required and mandated throughout the state. So all of the counties and community mental health organizations are overseeing this implementation in their county and region. And so this is a mobile crisis service, and it's really aimed at providing services for anyone between the ages of 0 to 21. And it's able to, specific to children, youth, and young adults. And it's a Medicaid service, and it's because community mental health organizations in the state are funded by Medicaid dollars. And so per MDHHS, this is a Medicaid service for those that have Medicaid or are potentially Medicaid eligible. And when MDHHS envisioned this service, it was really to help individuals or young adults that may have more challenging behaviors, may have a diagnosis, which really it requires them to have more supports and intensive services in the community. And so it's for individuals that may have a serious emotional disturbance or mental illness, those with an intellectual or developmental disability, as those with recurring disorders, so those with a mental illness and as well as a substance use disorder. But individuals that want to utilize this service don't have to be pre-diagnosed, and so that's really important. And in developing this service in Oakland County, we really had to see how are we going to make this efficient and accessible for families and youth in the community. Now, this is a service that came down from MDHHS, but we didn't receive funding for this service. So all of the communities around the state are saying, you know, how do we fund this? And so when we looked at Oakland, we gathered a lot of crisis information for when individuals were going to ERs, when individuals were going to Common Ground. We really mirrored our program and service to really model that and mirror that. And so in Oakland County at this time, it has been launched in September, but we're not operating on a 24-hour basis. We looked at those crisis peak times, and those were typically in the evenings and then extended on the weekends. And so we really mirrored our service to really be able to help families during those times when these crisis situations were occurring. And what's really nice about this mobile team is when they deploy out into the community, they don't go in like an EMS or they don't go in like a siren van. They just go in normal cars and they meet individuals in the community wherever they are. But where they are able to go is able to like individual residences and homes and foster care homes for those youth that are really in need. And when they're pulled out of their homes in situations that can be a lot of trauma and a lot of crisis situations. And so it's wonderful they're able to go out to foster care homes. They're able to meet youth and families at emergency departments. Even last night we got calls from Novi Providence ED for a family in crisis. They wanted this youth mobile crisis team to go out, and they were able to. But crisis situations can occur in many areas in the community, whether it's a library, a park, any community center or store. This youth mobile crisis team is able to go there as well, so that's really wonderful. Now with this service per MDHHS, there are some exclusionary areas where they're just not able to per the state of Michigan. So at this time, they're not able to go to daycare settings. Because of our hours of operation, they're not able to go to inside the community schools, but we still want parents to know about this service. They're not able to go to child caring institutions, which provide the 24-hour supervision of children and youth. They're not able to go to detention centers, so they're not able to go to Children's Village. And then for the older, well, they're young adults, they're not able to go to the jail, so they're not able to go to Oakland County Jail. And then when children do enter an inpatient setting, whether it's a medical or psychiatric, they're not able to go into the inpatient settings once a child has been admitted, but they are able to go to the emergency departments and rooms. And ultimately, well, what is this goal? What is this goal of this Youth Mobile Crisis Team going out into the community? Well, ultimately, it's to keep children and youth at the homes, but to provide this intensive crisis stabilization service to them where they are located in the community. So absolutely, we want to keep children out of hospitals and ERs and common ground. We want to try to provide that services in the home to restore the behavioral functioning of that individual or the emotional functioning of the individual. When it says reduce or prevent the care in a restrictive setting, it's those settings that are locked up or the settings that require constant supervision. But then also, they're providing assessment for these children. They're providing de-escalation and intervention for the supports for the individuals and families. And then should an individual need more continued stabilization, they're able to connect youth and families with those supports in the community, with a provider, with a counseling provider, with ongoing psychiatric treatment. And so it's really wonderful in that area as well. And so who is providing this service in Oakland County? We work through 8 contracted providers in regards of our ongoing treatment. But in regards of this service, we contracted it out to New Oakland Family Centers, and we are very fortunate because they have already been providing this service in Wayne County for 5 years, and so they're very experienced in providing this level of service. Now, any team that wants to provide this service has to be approved by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, and they have been pre-approved in regards of their credentialing, of their staff, of their clinicians, of their psychiatrist supports, and their mobile team. And so they were already pre-approved. So when Oakland Community Health Network had to decide on a team, it was really an easy decision because New Oakland was there and they're located in our community and also a tri-county area to provide services for families. As I mentioned, the team operates on peak hours, which are evenings, and extended on weekends. And what's really nice about this service is when the New Oakland team is contacted, they arrive to that youth and that family wherever they are in the community within 1 hour. And that's mandated per the state. And they've been very successful in doing so in Oakland County since we launched, as well in Wayne County for a number of years. So really, what is a crisis situation? Well, it can look like so much to different families, right? Whether it's aggression, property destruction, social isolation, suicidal thoughts, or harm. So it can look a lot different, but ultimately if a parent or caregiver feels like they've utilized all their skills, they've utilized all their coping mechanisms, they can call this team to be able to come out and meet them in the community. But whether a child has a potential to harm him or herself or others, it's very much appropriate. As well as that individual, if their functioning is impaired, we want this service to come out to be able to really keep the child in the home and then really to try to prevent a child from having to go to the hospital or ER. And so examples of a crisis situation, when can the New Oakland Youth Mobile Crisis Team go out? I can just share from our own experiences in Oakland County. They've gone out for property destruction, aggression, suicidal thoughts, children eloping from school and running away, just children having a crisis situation which they couldn't be, coped, and families didn't know what to do. They were able to call the New Oakland Youth Mobile Crisis Team to come out to be able to assist those families in these needs. And so what does the New Oakland team look like? What does that team composition look like? As I mentioned, they don't go out in sirened vehicles or anything like that. They go out in normal cars. However, they always have a master's level supervising clinician, and always a team of 2 always goes out, which is a master's level clinician as well as a social work technician. They go on a team of 2 to be able to help out the family as well as the youth. And when they're going out, they're providing the crisis intervention. They're trained to provide this type of crisis de-escalation and intervention. But they also do clinical assessments should that child need a higher level of care, because sometimes they do need a greater amount of supervision and intervention that they can provide, and so they are able to facilitate that coordination for a partial or inpatient hospitalization if needed. And it's really wonderful because with this service, a lot of individuals that are accessing this service are open with our core providers. So when I say that, whether it's Easter Seals or Oakland Family Services, Macomb Oakland Regional Center, or our community living supports, or some of the children's and providers in our network, we want to make sure that they're notified should the Youth Mobile Crisis Team go out. So we made sure that they notify these clinicians and treatment teams and providers should they go out, but then it's going back to that provider to provide that continued treatment and stabilization for that youth. And so we have protocols in regards of when they need to follow up and when they need to make additional follow-up coordination with that family. And so we've launched in September. We're a little bit more than 4 weeks out. We've been really excited as we're continuing to partner with law enforcement, DHHS, Child Protective Services, foster care, and even the community hospital. So we're continuing to outreach this service to really make sure that individuals, family, or community partners know about this service, because again, we want families to be able to utilize this and access this service. And we do have continuing plans. We're going to have a release and Metro Parent article. And so again, just sharing more information about this article so that youth and families can contact this service. And what's nice about it is law enforcement can contact the Youth Mobile Crisis Team to come out, ERs can, parents, but then also youth. They can also self-refer themselves if they feel like they're in a crisis. They can call this number directly, and they get an actual clinician on the line to answer the phone. So it's not through a triage center. When they call this number, they're getting ultimately connected to a licensed clinician, which is wonderful. And sometimes the team doesn't even have to go out. They can provide phone counseling over the phone. Sometimes the family just wants to be able to understand, what is a plan for my family? What is a plan for my child? So sometimes it's just talking to that family and de-escalating things over the phone. Should an individual call, maybe they have insurance outside of Medicaid. What's wonderful about New Oakland is they accept almost all insurances. So even if the Youth Mobile Crisis Team isn't able to go out, they can say, let's schedule an intake appointment tomorrow morning at one of our offices. You can see one of our psychiatrists and clinicians in the morning. And so they're located in the Tri-County area, Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne. So even if the Youth Mobile Crisis Team isn't able to go out, they're still able to say, let's have you come in the morning to provide support and assistance to the family. In regards of care coordination, we've developed a lot of crisis protocols in regards of how we interact with our providers and how providers should take on this service. And the providers we work with have 24-hour crisis hotlines, and they have really meaningful crisis prevention responses and planning with families, meaning they work with their families on what should they do in a crisis situation. They have that planned. But in regards to situations when they would be going to the ER, when they would be going to Common Ground, this is an appropriate service, and so we want to make sure that our providers utilize it appropriately. We have contacts from all of our providers network in regards of continuing process improvements in regards of this service. But this is New Oakland Family Centers. This is the actual number to call in regards if somebody is interested in the New Oakland Youth Mobile Crisis Team coming out. So if a family is in crisis, they can call this number. As I mentioned, the peak hours are operating on the evenings and extended on the weekends. We're working from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. during the weekdays, and Saturdays and Sundays and major holidays from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. So extended on the weekends to be able to really help families in need. Now, as we gather more and more data as this service just launched, we'll be able to amend the hours of operation should we need to, because again, we want to make sure that this service is accessible and really efficient for the community. And this is all of my contact information. But we do want to make sure this is an accessible and efficient service and something that's a quality to really fulfill that crisis need in the community. And so we're absolutely proud to do that and, again, help children, youth, and young adults in our community. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Megan. Yes, I think there's a couple questions. Start off with Commissioner Zach.
Well, thank you for coming and explaining this more. I think it's a terrific program. But my concern is that it's only Medicaid eligible. And are we, as we promote it, there's a lot of people out there that have private insurance, that have all of these crises. So I would want to know how often, I'd like to see numbers. How often does somebody with private insurance call for this crisis, van and say, do we need this for everybody? That's a concern for me. Can we just make it a universal service? And then how often have we used this since September?
Since September, there have been 8 referrals with the New Oakland being contacted. However, it's a new service, so it takes some time to get the momentum going. Now, in regards to going back to your first question about the insurance pieces and individuals without Medicaid, a lot of individuals in our community have commercial or private insurance. But in regards of the MDHHS requirements and how we're funded, if the state wants to open it up and provide funding, but how we are in our buckets of money, we are limited in that scope. So if we are able to have access to more funding, we absolutely want to extend this service.
So we are going to track those
yes,
numbers
absolutely.
so that we
we'll be
can
able to
make
track
a good
that data.
case.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Kowal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for your wonderful presentation. It's really a great program. I know that you can't go into the community schools, but are the schools receiving word of this? My daughter's a teacher, and she's had students that sometimes have some pretty severe problems, and this might be some information she could pass along to parents for them to keep in the occasion that something like this should happen. And were you working through youth assistance as well to get the word out?
Yes, I'm actually meeting with youth assistants next Friday at the staff meeting, and so I see we have a supervisor from youth assistance. But I am meeting with youth assistants, and then we have contacted all of the counseling and social work departments at the schools, and we've worked through Oakland schools as well to be able to share this service. You're welcome.
Commissioner Taub.
Yes, I do wish, I agree with with both commissioners, wonderful presentation, but I do think that what we need to do is figure out a way to service everyone. I agree with Helene Zach. I do know that Common Ground, although they do that. They're able to service, they can give people direction as to where to go if they can't provide the services for them rather. So I'm thinking that some way, I would hate to have somebody turned down in this county, and quite frequently parents are at wit's end. They don't know what to do, and they don't know how to do it. If they call Common Ground can direct them to facilities, but I think we need to have this mobile unit for everyone, quite frankly. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. I appreciate you coming out and giving the presentation, everybody. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And I have flyers here, and I'll leave as well, just in case anyone wants to take them. We have flyer pads, and I have one left up, but I'll leave another one too. But thank
Great.
you so much.
Thank you so much. Next, we're going to move on to our proclamation. This is the opportunity we get to recognize those in the community that have done great things, and it's about to get a little bit more energized in the room here as these young adults start to walk in. With that, I will call on Commissioner Berman, Commissioner Long, and Commissioner Gershenson. Please come forward.
That's why that center was in.
Awesome.
Okay, welcome. Some energy here. Hi, guys. I see a few faces I'm familiar with. So I am thrilled to welcome the students of the Magnet program at Roosevelt Elementary School in the West Bloomfield School District, located right in my home city of Keego Harbor. Today, we have a collection of remarkable and talented students joining us. The Magnet program is designed for accelerated and talented learners to participate in a project-based and collaborative program ages between 3rd and 5th grade. The relationships and camaraderie that they develop and the growth of their learning that they achieve is incredible. And I know this because my daughter Alexis is here. Where is Lexi? There she is. Lexi's in 5th grade in the final year of the program, and they're here today as part of their field trip. Last year I was happy to help plan and chaperone a trip to our state capitol, and today they're here to observe us as well as perform a mock trial in our courts. I want to give a shout out real quick to Art Holdsworth, whose daughter is also in the program, Sarah. Art helped plan and prepare this trip. Is Art here? All right, great. Sarah here? So I want to make this short, but I am absolutely inspired and encouraged by the talented group of kids that we have here. I go to every single one of their events, and they put on incredible programs. The teachers are second to none. This is an amazing program. So I'm excited today on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, along with my colleagues, Commissioner Gershenson and Commissioner Long, who also have portions of the West Bloomfield School District within their jurisdictions, to present the Magnet program with a proclamation on its 40th anniversary of the program. We're about the same age. So if Mrs. Rich, Mrs. Law, and Mrs. Sipola could please join us as we present you and recognize you with this proclamation. Yeah, come on up here. Come on up here. No, go ahead. So I'm going to allow Commissioners Gershenson and Long to read our proclamation.
Congratulations. Whereas the health and happiness and success of our children greatly depends on the quality of their education, and whereas founded in 1978, the West Bloomfield Magnet Program for Academically Advanced Students is a project-based learning community that serves nearly 80 students in grades 3 through 5. Students in the program attend Roosevelt Elementary School, which is located in Keego Harbor, Michigan, and whereas by implementing a variety of instructional methods based on brain research, teachers can cover the required curriculum faster, sooner, broader, and deeper, and right in here.
This one? This one.
Yes.
Throughout their multi-year experience, students create lasting relationships with both peers of similar intellectual talent and with their teachers. These students are accepted for their individual characteristics in an environment that nurtures their unique social and emotional needs. We join with the West Bloomfield School District, as well as the students, parents, and teachers of Roosevelt Elementary to congratulate them on the 40th anniversary of the West Bloomfield Magnet Program.
Now therefore, Michael Gingell, Chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with Commissioners Tom Berman, Christine Long, and Marcia Gershenson, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim special accommodation to the Roosevelt Elementary School and the West Bloomfield Magnet Program. We thank them for their ongoing commitment to education, and we wish them continued success. Congratulations and thank you. So there is one person I know for sure that is louder than me and likes to talk more than I do. Mrs. Law, you want to say a few words?
We just wanted to say thank you. We love our job. We have the greatest job in the world to prepare these young kids for the future, to change the world, and look at them, because there's some world changers in this group for sure. And we're just honored that the county has opened up a learning experience for us and value us as educators and value our students. Thank you again to Mr. Holdsworth, and of course we know Mr. Berman. Thank you to the township. Anybody?
Nope, thanks.
Woo!
Whoop. Tom, why don't you go the other way?
Kids stand up. Yeah, we're always in the front.
We'll give them 1 minute to depart. All right, while they depart, Madam Clerk, any other communications to come before us?
Yes. We have one communication this morning dated October 11th. Dear Commissioners, it is with deep gratitude that I submit this report on behalf of the Village of Ortonville Council. With the help of Oakland County's Local Road Improvement Matching Fund Program, the Village of Ortonville was able to crack seal the lengths of Mill and South Streets, the village's main roads into the downtown area. The application of crack seal material has extended the life of these two streets. Being such a small community, it is imperative that we extend the life of and preserve the infrastructure of these streets for our downtown businesses and residents. We again thank you for offering this program and look forward to applying for funding next year. Sincerely, Liz Edwards, Village Clerk, Ortonville Village. That's it.
That's it. Without objection, communications will be received and filed. Moving on to the next item, which is public comment. I believe we have a few people that have signed up, but if you have not signed up, don't worry. We'll get a chance to speak if you so wish to. First off, I will call on, who's going first? Jeff? Jeff White. And I think you understand the rules by now. 3 minutes. Please wrap up your comments after that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jeff White. I've been out here several times. I do appreciate you allowing me to speak today. I'm not going to speak too long. I am here on the elderly abuse and the taking of assets over there in the probate court. But I did want to speak to you all because I think it was yourself and the chairman last time came down to see me, and I do understand that you wanted me to go to the Supreme Court Administration Office, and I have done that. But I also understood that there was a letter from the chairman that has gone out to that. Maybe Chris Ward could share that with me if that's possible, and that would be super. And then I would know what steps are being taken. And then I did want to touch base on my public administrator that's working on my case individually. That special fiduciary in 2012 has come up with an accounting for my father's assets, and the accounting is unknown. That's after several years, unknown, he says. So I know if we were in front of a IRS agent or something of that nature, you know, that just wouldn't be acceptable to an IRS agent, you know, to just be unknown after several years on what assets my father had and where the accounting is. And then on a last note, well, there's two notes here, I guess, but kind of on a last note, the unfortunate situation that happened to my wife over there in the probate court, where she was arrested one day, and I have made personally two FOIA requests in regards to getting the video, and we did get a partially snipped one, edited video, and now the second one that has come back is when I'm asking for all the hallway things and all the different cameras that are available in this community, that I'm being denied the video in regards to my wife's arrest, and denied digital evidence is what they're saying. So then I know Mr. Dwyer has left right now, but I was under the understanding that he meets on Tuesdays over here in the conference room. I don't know what time that is, but I did want to possibly, if I could go over there and speak to them on one of these Tuesdays. Is it at 11 a.m.? Could you tell me that, or what time it goes on?
We'll get you the time.
Okay. All right, and that's it for me today. I thank you again for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Next, we have Ms. White.
I need to make sure everybody knows I'm speaking. I have to make this political. I'm a candidate for the U.S. or State of Michigan House of Reps. I'm being told by people in the legal system that I've lost my liberties and freedoms. And as much as I appreciate the invocation about the woman that lost her life, I am also losing my freedoms. And all I care is about my husband and his trauma that he's going through. So real quickly, I'm going to do a quick update because I'm being told I can't do it on Facebook because it's a social media situation. I'm here at an open meeting because in America, under God, we are allowed to do this. It's called due process. So on January 15, 2018, the Attorney General was found out about what was going on with a case that started in 2012. It might be slightly out of order, but here is my formal complaint that the people of the state of Michigan, I'm running for a state rep, is now have a complaint against me. They're saying that I assaulted an officer, and this is what he did to me. He grabbed me from behind, walked up, and it was like a Red Rover thingy. Another gentleman, didn't hurt me as bad. It was this guy here. It's in the complaint. You'll know which officer it was. Did it in front of my husband. Didn't know what was happening to me. And the cameras will show the proof. We're waiting for those. I emailed every one of you guys for the cameras in our multi-million-dollar system that we have here. I'm begging you to get it because I'm in court now. Okay? And so this is the check that I had to pay. I'm already $5,000 in debt. It's for this appearance for request of discovery. I asked for you guys to please help me because I need it. My attorney, in one of the documents, doesn't even really believe me because most attorneys help criminals. I'm now in criminal court being called a criminal because I cared about my husband, okay? I am not a medical mobile machine. I am a woman that has a husband that worked since 1976 at the old winery in Orchard Lake. You know where it's at because everybody knows the old winery. It was a haunted house, and now I'm in a horror film because I'm going to jail, 90 minutes in jail. Door slammed, locked, horrific nightmares now. But you wouldn't know unless your freedoms and liberties were taken away. Now I'm at the district court saying I can't speak on social media, okay? Here's Daniel O'Brien. He's the judge that wanted to take me off to Common Ground because of this changes and choices that some document legislation's putting out, that it's called a civil commitment. And a man can go into his office and tell me that I'm mentally crazy, okay? Maybe I'm crazy to run for office. Y'all did it, and I appreciate the service you have given to our state of Michigan and our county of Oakland. I'm begging you to do something because it matters. And I know the beeper's going off, and I'm done because I'm going to respect your time because now I know how important 90 minutes is when the door closes and you're waiting for the Lord to open up that door, which he did. My husband had to pay $200. 3 days later, they put a warrant out for my arrest. I'm up to $1,000. I could be breaking my bond because I'm here speaking at an open meeting in America in Oakland County. So I'm expecting all of you to remember to read your Constitution. I'm running for state rep. My chances are slim, but it doesn't matter. It still matters that America matters. And you guys have gotten emails from me back from June 6th, on July 19th, and August. Please read your emails from me. That's all I'm asking. And then my court date is here in front of Mr. Bowman. I like him. He's a man of order. He's a man of rules. And I do believe he's going to help me. I believe in my heart. The Judge Bowman is going to help me help you guys get me those videotapes. That's how innocent I am. That's how innocent. Show the video. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak today? Seeing none, I'll close public comment and move on to the reports of standing committees. With that, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I'll take a motion by Kokendorfer, supported by Woodward. Any comments, questions on consent? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Crawford,
Yes.
Dwyer,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Gershenson, Hoffman, Jackson, Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Quarles, Spiz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Teets,
Yes.
Whitebert, Woodward, Zach,
Yes.
Berman, Bowman.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 20 yeas, 0 nays.
Consent agenda has been approved. Moving on to our regular agenda, we have one committee to come before us today, and with that, I'll call on the Honorable Phil Whitebert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today we have 3 items. The first item is the Planning and Building Committee, Department of Central Services Aviation Division, approval and adoption of the airport rules and regulations. And before we take that up, I would like to make a motion to amend that.
So moved by Whitebird, supported by Woodward.
And the amendment is, everybody should have it in front of them. We're, and had it at caucus, we are, it came through Planning and Building Committee that we recommended the approval of the Rules and Regulations of the Airport Committee that hadn't been for, since 2002. And there's just some minor definitions, and they've been distributed to everybody. Just definition of airport committee and the rules. So that is the gist of the amendment.
Any other comments, questions on the amendment? Seeing none, roll call on the amendment, please.
Commissioners Dwyer,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Gershenson, Hoffman, Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Quarles, Spiz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Teets,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward, Zach,
Yes.
Berman, Bowman,
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 20 yeas, 0 nays.
The amendment has been approved. I'll take a motion on the resolution as amended, moved by Whitebird, supported by Woodward. Any additional comments? Seeing none, roll call, please, on the resolution as amended.
Commissioners Fleming,
Yes.
Gershenson, Hoffman, Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Quarles, Spiz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Teets, Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward, Zach,
Yes.
Berman, Bowman, Crawford,
Yes.
Dwyer.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 20 yeas, 0 nays.
Resolution has been approved. Commissioner Whitebird.
Thank you. The second item is miscellaneous resolution, Parks and Recreation Commission Independence Oaks, the STEP lease. I'd ask that be referred to Finance.
Without objection, refer to Finance. Commissioner Whitebird.
Thank you. And the last item is miscellaneous resolution, In-Re Circuit and Probate Court Facilities Planning and Engineering, a new courtroom construction project with fiscal note attached. I'd move that resolution.
Okay, we have a motion by Whitebird, supported by Woodward. Any additional comments, questions on the motion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioners Gershenson, Hoffman, Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
McGilvray,
No.
Middleton,
Yes.
Quarles, Spiz,
No.
Taub,
Yes.
Teets, Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward, Zach,
Yes.
Berman, Bowman, Crawford,
Yes.
Dwyer,
Yes.
Fleming.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 18 yeas, 2 nays.
Resolution has been approved. Commissioner Whitebird.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes the report of the Planning and Building Committee.
Great, thank you. So we'll move on to the next items on our agenda, which will be new and miscellaneous business, which I believe we have, 3 resolutions to come before us. Commissioner Gershenson. Nope. No, we have 3 resolutions out there somewhere. They're there.
Thank you, Commissioner Spiz. I just want to introduce miscellaneous resolution in support for the Better Pay and Lifetime Earnings for Teenage Girls Throughout Adulthood Act, and refer it to general government.
Without objection, refer to general government.
Good morning. Looking to present miscellaneous resolution in support of adopting a recommendation of smoke-free recreation areas, parks and playgrounds in Oakland County, referred to general government.
Without objection, refer to general government. Commissioner Bowman.
Also introducing miscellaneous resolution in recognition of December 21st as National Homeless Persons Memorial Day here in Oakland County, referred to general government as well.
Without objection, refer to general government. All right, any other new or miscellaneous business to come before us today? Seeing none, we'll move on to announcements. Any announcements from anybody? Commissioner Bowman.
I would just like to remind all that you have an opportunity to collectively support the City of Pontiac. The City of Pontiac is participating in the National Main Street Program to support the General Motors Modern Housing neighborhood, which is 20 communities. Well, it's 20 communities here nationally that are competing for grant resources to improve their Main Street district. And you have the ability to vote up until tomorrow, November the 26th. You can vote 5 times a day. This would bring some very needed resources into the community. And so hopefully we can have you in support.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowman. Any other announcement, Commissioner Toth?
Yes, I would like to take this opportunity once again to recognize Leadership Open. They're sitting over there, and I don't know whether they understand what we're doing quite yet, but I know that Commissioner Berman here will explain to them. He's an alum.
Commissioner Berman?
No, afterwards.
Oh, okay. He's usually not shy and not usually shy away from the microphone. But again, I also like to thank Leadership Oakland for attending. Thank you, and good luck throughout this year. And if you need anything from the commission or Commissioner Berman, please don't hesitate to ask. So with that, I'll call us adjourned until November 14th, 7 p.m., or to call the chair.